Hello and welcome everybody to the BAMS cast. We have hit the playoffs and there was some late drama here. Let's just tell you who has made it. No surprises. Hotspurs, Derek's rad team, change it. The Nog, baloney squeezes, just win and win and win in fourth place. Pookaboo, I love you, with a late surge to get themselves in. What a up and down season of amassing draft capital, having so many things not go their way, selling their team, buying some pieces back, and then making it in. And then lastly, where the most drama is, Marianne's Hammocks finding the final slot in the playoffs. Diesel guys, now injured guys, the Fiana, Commissioner, those were the three that had very high hopes late in the season that all faltered down the stretch. The gangbang, Shaysky, Hardo, we knew our place, we stayed there. But how does it feel to be a loser? What happened?
Oh, what happened? It starts 2 months ago when I won for the last time. Um, usually you ask me how I'm doing, and I was really excited to tell you how great I am. I didn't even have to stress last weekend. I was out before the last weekend. It's the holiday season. You see, no football. Presents are wrapped. Lemon
It
ginger
is nice
tea.
being out of the drama.
Oh my goodness, I can prep for the lottery this weekend. Please
Woo!
RSVP for a noon ETA. If you want to come earlier, please do. Please do. There's nothing going on at the house. So
I'll be there early.
great. But no, I'm great. It's a bad thing to not be in the playoffs and to have a fall like I did. But you got to find a positive and I just listed them for you. Speaking of positives that come out of it, I had a clear mind to not worry about my team. I found stats these past couple of weeks that I
Yes.
want to introduce you to. I have some information for the league that was just mind blowing. Let's talk about some stuff that just came up when you were talking. When you mentioned Broly and Pookaboo coming in. Again, I want to remind the viewers that he is the third best draft assets coming into next year. So that was an impressive feat for him. I'm sure he will not be quiet about that when we're together next. And he did that by the last 2 weeks, the 2 weekly wins. He finished up with the $50 weeks the last 2 weeks to finish out the season. So you want to put together some late season power rankings? He's up there with the best of them right now. And I hate to say it, but overall, that Power Five overall weekly wins, he is now in first place. Yeah. So wanted to get that out of the way, obviously. But let's talk. Okay, I got a new segment really quick, and
Okay.
it's titled "Fuck, seriously, man." So this is the segment. It's really quick. Every week, you hope that you get a matchup that benefits you. Talk to Grimmer about it. Talk to you. Congratulations. You did the most points against. $50
Unlucky.
for you. We upped it this week. That's a huge win. $50. Um, I went and looked. Really, I wanted to see who was unlucky. Yeah, everything added up for you, but let's talk how many weeks did we match up against the weekly winner? You following me?
How many weeks did
So
an individual team match up
yeah,
against the weekly
like
winner?
me, like there's 14 weeks. How many times was I unlucky to have to play against like the best team? And this, what made me think of this was I played Growley a couple weeks ago and he won the week and I really
Got it.
needed him to. So I went back and looked and O'Toole, me, Growley, Boyle, Nog, they all only played the top week once. Then you got Russell. Then you got Jay Rin, who twice had to deal with the best team. Tim, do you know how many times you were matched up against the eventual best week out of all 12 teams? And shame on me for not looking at what the odds of this turns out to be, but where do you think you are on that?
All right. Well, listen, we have six matchups a week over 14.
14.
So everyone should have it happen twice, like 2.2. Maybe I'm making some things up, but that feels about right. I did just lay on my back and take it all year, and it felt that way. And actually, the only good thing about it was like, I think we've had Marianne's hammocks hold strong, Puka hold strong, and find their way into the playoffs when they were kind of in the same position I was early in the season when I sold. This just made it so crystal clear to me, like, after selling, there was nothing I could do. I was 2-5 for getting pounded, and then after I sold, I continued to get pounded. I mean, let's say 3 times higher than what the average should have been, which was 6 times.
You're spot on.
That's so brutal.
Almost half the season, Tim. One more, and you could say half the season. I was matched up against the best team every week, literally the best team.
You just got to read the writing on the wall early on in the season. Just like, it's not for me. I had the best draft of my BAMS career. Like, still to this day, I feel like not a single guy I drafted got injured. It was just like, I drafted well. No one got injured.
Yeah.
I was scoring pretty well. And it was just like, fuck you, dude. Just,
yeah,
we're going to score 120 against you each week. 6 is tough, though.
6 is really tough.
I didn't know that, man.
The last part about you're supposed to go, fuck, seriously, man.
That's what it was, damn. Fuck, seriously, man.
Yeah, so tough go. And this is the first BAMalytics that I don't need to confirm that is a record. That is
lock it.
Crazy.
Hang that in that number 6 in the rafters.
You're getting a banner for that. Next sexy, we got okay, so here's the thing. Pete Grimmer, baloney squeezes, one of the nicest guys. I get texts when I was knocked out. I think you were on the text.
Yes.
If you need someone to really gas you up in a league and really anything, I mean, I think of him on the golf course. Pete Grimmer is that guy. Always just a goddamn delight to communicate with. That being said, this segment is called "What Would My Schedule Be if I Had Pete Grimmer's Team?" So we're gonna rail against him right now a little bit. I found a nice little asset, a website that easily does this for me. So I would have been 10-4. Tim, you sold, so rightfully so. You would have been a little less, but you would have been 8-6. You'd have been 8-6. The hammocks would have been 10-4. Fiona would have been 10-4. Puka-Boo would have been 11-3.
Wow, Zintac, the commish in the lab, unfolding new resources. Wow.
Hilarious. And actually, if we did a podcast last week, there was more stuff like odds for playoff and all that we'll bring out next year, but cool little resource I found. So that was that. Love you, Pete, but yeah, you had a...
No, we all love you, Pete. There's nothing he can do. He just went out there and played each week. There's nothing he can do about what other teams score.
Yeah, and I mean, every year we're in the 10th season. Every year the someone in his position with the the least points against still average over 100 points. This was the first season that someone had their opponents average less than 100, and he didn't even hit 96 points. It was 95 and change. So good for him. I mean, if he can make a run, it'll be a great story. He's got Puka-Boo this week. We'll see.
Just get in the tournament. And I don't know, there's just like something about like a winning aura that the universe is just working in his favor. So if I'm Puka, you could look at the projections, you could feel great about your team, you could listen to podcasts where people say that your players are going to pop. There's just something bigger going on with Grimmer, so we're gonna put it to the test this week, but I love to see it.
Yeah. Okay, so those are the two kind of wild card segments I wanted to hit really quick. Awards. Regular season's over. Congratulations. As I alluded to earlier, Hardo, you beat me by 16 points. Again, that's
tough for you too, because I took an unprecedented beating and you were roughly 1.2 points behind me.
Yeah. But them's the breaks. Congratulations, $50. We got Spurs. We knew that was coming. He won, and we upped that too for 175 points. And he won the biggest week earlier in the season. Ford before the playoffs already has 475 coming his way. And then I mentioned Grohl's win in the past 2 weeks. So I think that is good for the awards. Let's get into the matchups, the ones that mattered last week, because we got some playoffs to talk about, and we got a draft lottery Christmas bonanza extravaganza coming up this weekend to talk about. There's not many matchups that really mattered here. What do
No,
you got?
let's just go quickly of matchups that didn't matter. It's like Hotspurs beating the Nog. Nog, that was an opportunity for Nog to get into the number 2 spot and get himself a bye, but he falls to the Hotspurs. That would have needed Derek's rad team to lose against Shasky, who just puts up some late fights in the season. 116 to 114 made Derek's rad team work for the number 2 spot and the first round bye. So there was just a little bit of drama towards the top. Fianna Commissioner did not matter. Baloney squeezes and the gangbang. Gangbang gets a win off of the squeezes. Maybe the squeezes just needed to get an L out of the way before the playoffs, but finally that we had one go against the squeezes there. And then Pukaboo beats the heck out of me, and they had already clinched the playoffs, so they get in at the 5 spot. It all was in the one matchup here of the Diesel guys and Marianne's hammocks. And I mean, I think there's a lot behind this of Marianne's hammocks was fielding a lot of trade talks and made no trade moves, which would have benefited the teams that were all vying for those final spots. So I feel like, I don't know if you made any moves, but I think the Rin boys in Diesel guys and Fianna were trying to wheel and deal and take assets off of Hammock's team to build their squads down the stretch. So the fact that Hammocks holds on to the assets, those assets then do not benefit you, Rin boys, and actually elevates Hammocks down the final weeks of the year to elevate them into that 6th spot to get into the playoffs was something else. And this is probably more of, I mean, now that Diesel guys have become injured guys, just a brutal, devastating, injury-laden end of a season to the Diesel guys that I have complimented all year for absolutely fantastic management of assets and waiver wire pickups. Really dialed in and had just a solid team. It just did not come together. So I would let's hit a couple things here. Diesel guys getting Dak Prescott off of the baloney squeezes was huge, and Dak was amazing in the second half of the year. Jamar Chase losing Joe Burrow, brutal. Calvin Ridley just fell off the face of the earth in the second half of the season. Jalen Waddle, decent week, but the gap between Tyreek and Waddle became a chasm throughout the year. Getting Kyron Williams back was great, and Kyron Williams was legit, but then you have Josh Jacobs' injury. Justin Jefferson, brutal that he makes his comeback in a week that you think is going to be the week that you catapult yourself into the playoffs, and Josh Dobbs throws a hospital ball over the middle, and Jefferson gets rocked in the back. So all of those things, it's just when we talk about the universe working in the squeeze's favor, this was the universe working against the Diesel guys despite their best efforts. Even a bench that is well managed. I just really like this team, and they are done. Toast. Hammocks, Patrick Mahomes all season. Mike Evans, who had a down week. T. Higgins, who really has not been that great this year. Devontae Adams, who's been down. It's all these awesome names that actually didn't show up in this big game. Eckler and Tony Pollard, and even Eckler, who's been really disappointing too. He puts up 19, Tony Pollard 15, and the killer, Evan Ingram, especially if you're the Diesel guys holding Calvin Ridley and you see across the field Evan Ingram putting up 29 for Marianne's Hammocks and Calvin Ridley gets you 7. That was the killer. And I think I had a front row seat of Diesel guys watching that game live, and it was rough.
Don't want to be there.
It was a lot. It was a lot of you have to throw it to Evan Ingram. You just have to. Yeah, so that is tough. Marianne's Hammocks, congrats. What a run.
Mm-hmm.
He just held pat and made it happen. He's in. Big time stuff.
I will, looking at the standings, 7, 8, 9, me, Fion, and the now injured guys. All try to better our teams. In fact, injured guys, Diesel guys, and myself are dead last as far as assets for drafting next year. And then just above them in the playoffs, you got, like you said, Hammocks didn't make any moves. Pukabu sold, which I think is fantastic. We talk about how many trades are throughout the season because it's, just so black and white, buying and selling. I think this is great for the league. It makes you second guess what you're doing. And that's my 2 cents on it. I thought it was entertaining. It was good to see Derek's team squeeze one out. That was entertaining. And then tough for Nog. What did I look at? 16 combined points between Jalen Hurts and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the playoffs because I feel like the whole Dolphins just have a different vibe going with them right now. That's not a good thing.
No, it's not a good
vibe. Same with Philly too. And that's so many people rode the coattails of both those teams and those players. AJ Brown on that team too. So it'll be interesting to see who can persist here through the playoffs. But that's great. I
think there were just like some fantasy teams that were in themselves like league winners, and Philly, Miami were 2 big ones. Niners are up there, and then
Dallas now.
Lions and Texans I think were 2 that and CJ Stroud concussion, Tank Dell going down. There was and the Lions having more depressing weeks more recently on a downtick there too. So there's a good amount of that going around for this fantasy season of some pieces you could really rely on dipping at the absolute worst time.
Right. So looking ahead, we got Spurs, we got Derek's team on the buys. They're going to rest. I think Ford, RSVP, no, because he's going to a Dolphins game in Miami this weekend. Look out for a 1 seed Ford on a buy in Miami. We got the squeezes and Pukabu as we talked about, and then Nog and the Hammocks. So that's should be interesting. Got a couple of upset potentials here. So anything else on the matchups here coming up?
I feel like I would have to look at them. So I got nothing right now. I mean, in terms of projections, it's looking real close between squeezes and Puka. The squeezes, what a year of they had bought Justin Herbert off of me, who's now on the IR, but they also bought Michael Pittman, who has been a huge asset all year. Getting Devon Achane ramped back up for Miami if the vibes are still there. Aaron Jones, if he can come back in time. There's just a lot that the squeezes are hinging on right now. Sam Howell scooped up off the wire. It is, if they're able to make it happen, it'll be a list of guys who are all I'm looking at James Conner as well, or DeAndre Hopkins, who's really been big in the last couple of weeks. Some late surgers, some dudes coming off of injury, actually could kind of make this happen at the right time. But this Puka team, I love it. It's a really good team where you have Puka, you have Debo. If Nico Collins is able to get back in the absence of Tank Dell, there's some pretty good stuff happening on that team. So I feel like that's an absolute toss-up for Hammocks and Nog. Projections are saying Nog is going to have it by 12. I would argue the same. I think that Nog should win this one based on the assets I'm seeing. We kind of ran through Marianne's hammocks of like some of these traditionally big names, but who have really had some trouble down the second half of the season. Nog, it could be as simple as just if he gets Hurts, Hill, and AJ Brown to show up. It could be curtains there.
I'll tell you what, I bet the hammocks wouldn't have it any other way though. Underdogs.
That's right.
They go, doubt us. They got this. They actually printed this out, this matchup, and it's in the locker room right now. Of the hammocks. So yeah, it's they got Eckler tonight. That'll be. I mean, that's huge. He is such a wild card with that matchup tonight. And Devontae Adams.
Just visually watching Eckler, he was like he looked slow and needs 2 steps to kind of make a cut. It was looking bad, and then who knows? He gets 19 last week, so we have no clue. But what a wild card indeed tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of that quarterback's name on the Chargers.
Oh, it's Easton Stick.
Easton Stick, yes. Which could play to Eckler's favor. If you bet on that game, bless you. But yeah, that's that. What a hilarious way to kick off the playoffs with that game.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. Should be interesting. What else? You got anything else you want to touch on, or should we talk about Sunday or draft lottery?
Sunday.
The lottery balls have been set, sir. I have not picked them up from the lockdown BAMS storage site.
Oh yeah.
I have to obtain those this coming day.
I'm gonna write that entire the 2 sentences.
Yeah.
You just couldn't find a single word for anything.
No. Tim, I'm just so relaxed and not thinking about stuff right now. I slept through the night last night. I didn't have to worry about waivers this week. It's fantastic. Yeah, my name is on there. Jay Rin's name is on there. Tim, another BAMS first. Jay and myself are the last 2 teams to never participate in a draft lottery.
Oh, so it's everybody's wet. We're all in the pool.
Which is all new territory for us. Jay's gonna have 4 purple balls. His brother, Thomas Injured Guys Diesels, will have 2 golden balls. I will have the 6 orange balls. And then you got O'Toole with 12. You got Shea with 18. And Tim, you are coming with a backpack full of 33 red balls.
That feels so great. I have to acknowledge that I pulled up the app and just there's one of those things where you're like, someone asks you how old you are. For me, I'm just like, I'm 25, but I'm actually 35. But in my head, I feel 25. In my head, I thought I took like 8th place. And I was just shocked. Jaw dropped, looked at the app and like, oh, I just dead last. Just took dead last this year.
You know what probably helped with that? It was that 6 different weeks you played the best team.
So, yeah, I mean, there's selling hard and then there's tanking. And my thing is I will never tank. I will always try to put out the best team possible. And yeah, clear conscience. I tried every week. It just didn't happen. Dead last. So, I mean, I wasn't exactly trying for it, but I don't mind in a season where I was selling super hard. I also get myself the first priority if the 33 red balls fall my way, but I like some odds just getting some decent priority there. So looking good. I did want to pay back a compliment to you of you were talking you and Jay were the last 2 into the lottery. Jay's been in and out of the league. You've been consistent the entire time. So considering
that's right. That's correct.
Considering that you've been in the league each season since inception, that is quite the run before this one. But hey, welcome to the lottery. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you gotta give others a shot. So no, I backed out of the playoffs this year. But yeah, week 5 or BAMS 5 was when the lottery started. So we can do the math. Anyway, let's talk lottery. So like I said, noon start. We're gonna have football on. We're gonna be drinking the holiday drinks. I'm gonna get some eggnog. We're gonna talk food in a text chain following the recording of this when we find out who's all coming and who's bringing drinks and food and all that good stuff. And yeah, we're gonna do the lottery. I know some folks have a children's birthday, I think it was coming up, so we're gonna get the lottery out of the way relatively early so we can live stream that for the folks on X. And yeah, it should be a good time. I'm assuming Shay's gonna have carton heaters.
Yeah.
We got to do that. Talked to Polanka today. He'll be there. No, I'm pumped. It's gonna be, winter weather, cold out. No one's gonna want to be outside, and we're just gonna sit and watch football and eat food, and it's gonna be a lovely celebration of the another great year of fantasy football.
I'm jacked. I will be there, most likely early. Shoot some text to you to
Yeah.
arrange that. But yeah, let's bring our best drinks, bring our best attitudes, good vibes, roll that cage.
Pretty sure there's not going to be too much stress. But did you talk to Tom Wren? We're going to talk about this live on the podcast. Is he coming?
Speaking of stress, I don't know. I'll have to text him to find out.
Okay. I was going to say, I would like it to be there. I would like to sit next to him and sulk with him because we had a similar outcome of the season.
Speaking of sulk, I have a bonus Bamlytics that, as you mentioned, Tom Wren, and I saw his just his hopes get dashed Sunday. Got a text that said dating back to 2016 when we switched from a 6-point to 4-point passing touchdown. So we're going back, 9, whatever. I'm not doing math. 8 years. Only one team has ever missed the playoffs who scored over 1,600 points. It was me in 2020.
Oh, so this is the second time?
Yeah, and I was the unlucky points winner as a consolation that year as well. So, I mean, I know exactly how you feel, TR. It sucks scoring 16-0 and not making the playoffs.
Yeah,
good team, but just wasn't enough.
I liken that to I looked at my name on the top points list and I was 6th overall in the season, which is not a big deal because the matchups, and so I didn't make mention of it. Because it's not a big deal, but I should have. Diesel guys, I don't know how often, I'm sure he can look at it, is 3rd in most points on the season. That's crazy. I don't want to look that up, but that's a lot of work, but I'm sure that doesn't happen often. So he is right to gripe. Hashtag right to gripe.
Right. But yeah, we'll text with that boy. We'll see what's up. Try to get him.
Okay.
Or I'll try to package deal it or something with me.
Yeah, that's kind of where my head was at. I didn't know if you guys would do that, but Grimmer's out, Growley's out. Is not coming. I think he said he's coming.
He's in the city. I think he's a mobile man. He should be able.
Yeah, and then I think Russell's out, so I don't think we have any like stress matchups going on. It's just going to be
just guys being dudes hanging out.
Just guys being dudes hanging out. That's so much better than what I was going to say. So on that note, I'm good. This was great timing. We got 5 minutes to spare. You don't because you wanted to go for 4:45 and 4:44. So
wait.
How about that?
Golly.
Any last words?
I love you guys. Great regular season. And I'm very pleased with just all the storylines, how this season worked out. It's tough for some, triumphant for others. But I think we've teed up a very eclectic mix of teams in this top 6. Wildly different styles and approaches that are going to come together here. So congrats to those that made the playoffs, and best of luck to all teams. I'll be very pumped to be hanging out with some of you on Sunday. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. Like you said, no shortage of stories, parody, all that good stuff leading up to the playoffs. You said it. You said it best. I'm not gonna repeat it. So looking forward to everyone that's coming on Sunday. Yourself included. Should be a good time. And we'll leave it there. Keep the holidays rolling, the holiday spirit. Don't worry if you don't win, guys. The stress-free situations are fantastic. That's it.
Done.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.